fight back with financial education. We need to fight back as capitalists because as long as they tax the crap out of us, we can't fight back. We're poor. Inflation's killing us. Australia is as socialist as it comes. And it's getting worse because I love their country. But I see what's happening. I'm going, oh my God, it would be disastrous.
In today's video, best-selling author and gold bull Robert Kiyosaki warns that communism has entered America via our school system. He reveals that the dollar is toast and gold is money. Robert concludes by discussing why the Bank of International Settlements just upgraded gold from a Tier 3 to Tier 1 asset, giving precious metals the recognition they deserve. Before listening to him, please ensure to smash the like button and subscribe to the channel.
You know, my father was the head of the teachers union. And what Marx says, workers of the world unite. And you look at the trade unions all across Australia, they have so much power. In America, the biggest labor union is the NEA, the education team, the teachers. And my father was head of the teachers union. So I grew up with all of these teachers union people, good people, don't get me wrong, but they're Marxist. They don't like capitalists. And so that's one of the biggest problems I see in the world today on a macro level. You have capitalists like us going up against the academics, and they're influencing our kids today. So if I could read you a quote, this is from Nikita Khrushchev, 1959. He says, "Your children's children will live under communism." This is the premier of the Soviet Union. "Your children's children will live under communism. Your Americans are so gullible. No, you won't accept communism outright, but we will keep feeding you small doses of socialism." Australia is as socialist as it comes. And it's getting worse because I love their country. But I see what's happening. I'm going, oh my God. We'll feed you small doses of socialism until you finally wake up and find out you already have communism. So that was Khrushchev in 1959. That's exactly what this book was saying in 1848. And it says, "We will not have to fight you. We will so weaken your economy." This is in 1959. "We'll so weaken your economy," and this is Khrushchev, "until you fall like overripe fruit into our hands." We're on the brink of that, Greg. The economy is on the brink of economic collapse because we have socialists teaching our kids. That's what this book's about. I'm not saying they're bad people, don't get me wrong. That's like saying, well, you're a Muslim, you're a Mormon, you're a Buddhist, you're a Hindu. But economics is an economic religion. Fascists are an economic religion. And we don't teach that in school. We get screwed with education from Marxists. You know, there's this woke, America's all this woke stuff, and they're changing history. America is now a racist country. America is no more racist than Australia is. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're not racist. You guys are not racist. You're some of the most tolerant people I know today.
Yes.
But what we're teaching our kids is America is systemically racist. And they're changing history. It's criminal what the academic elite, like my poor dad, the PhDs, what they're teaching our kids today is treason. It's going on in Macquarie, you know, your schools and all this. I know it. That's why your whole government will lock you down during COVID. If we teach kids to be capitalists, they have a chance. But as you know, Marxists, socialists, fascists, they hate capitalists because they're poor people. They're all like my poor dad, PhDs with no money. And so that's fascism. How dare they cut our freedom of speech? And you guys don't have guns, you know, because of the Huddle Street massacre years ago.
Yes.
But in America, they're trying to take away our Second Amendment. Crime is increasing here, you know, because they won't arrest people because what they're saying, if we arrest people, that's racist. Now, the problem is most of the people robbing people are African Americans. Well, I should tell you something. Do you know what I mean? They're poor people. They're not bad people. They're just poor. They're desperate. Homelessness in America is rampant right now. Because they're bringing drugs like fentanyl. Biden opens our border, the southern border, Mexico. Fentanyl pouring into our country, which causes homelessness because they get addicted or die. But that's what Biden's doing. Then Biden cut off our XL pipeline, from Canada to America. The price of oil went through the roof. Guess what? I'm an oil guy. My school I went to, not only did I study this book here, but I studied oil at the academy. And the moment Biden cut off the Keystone XL pipeline, the price of oil went from $30 a barrel US to $130. Now, I got richer. I made so much money. But it screwed the middle class because they're pumping gas in their SUV that's leased. And they want to hook up the price of oil's going up. Well, Biden cut the pipeline off, you idiots. And now he's in Saudi Arabia begging them to open the oil spigots. And Saudi Arabia, when Afghanistan fell, when Biden cut America off of Afghanistan, Saudi Arabia switched sides. Saudi Arabia on that day joined Russia. And so this guy Biden is the biggest criminal I've ever seen. I'm not Republican or Democrat. Trump is my friend. Written 2 books with the guy. But this guy Biden is a hardcore communist. And his sidekick, Kamala Harris, the first Black woman in public office, she's got the vocabulary of 50 words. We all know how she got to the top, the old-fashioned way. But America is gone. We're so corrupt right now. The FBI, they won't investigate Biden or his son Hunter. There's something really wrong. And what this book here predicted, it said that communism would come in 2 stages. 1930, the first stage took place. That's when Berlin from Germany sent teachers to Columbia University in 1930. And when I was at school in New York, Columbia was having riots. The students were rioting because that's what they teach kids to do. And then the next thing came in 2020 when President Trump, who's a friend of mine, lost the election due to a rigged election. And as Stalin said, it's not who votes that counts, it's who counts the votes. In Arizona, where I live, they don't know how many votes were counted. They still don't know. All of this was predicted in this book in 1848. And that's why I wrote Capitalist Manifesto, and all of it was the warnings we've had over all these years. But the trouble is our school teachers are communists, most of them. They're not bad people. They're like my poor dad. They don't know anything about money. Well, you see this here? 2 tours in Vietnam, went down 3 times. And I realized I was killing the wrong people. Because let me tell you one example, I'd watched, this is in this 1972, probably before many of your viewers were born. I'm watching the evening news with this guy, Walter Cronkite.
Famous.
He's describing these battles we're fighting in. And I'm going, I was in that battle. That did not happen. It was already fake news back then. And they show Americans killing kids and all this stuff, which did happen. But the communists are also sending kids against us. I almost had to shoot a little boy one day because he was trying to kill me. But the news doesn't report that. No. So it's all fake news. Walter Cronkite, that's the evening news. I'm screaming. I'm out in Vietnam. That didn't happen. It didn't happen. So the news is steering people towards communism. That's what's frightening to me. And it was Stalin, I think, who said, we must control the media. It's all in this book here. It's all been predicted. Let me give you one more thing, because Ozzy you guys are so taxed to death. And this is what Marx said. It says, a heavy and progressive income tax is necessary for the proper development of communism. And that's what's happening. Your country, my country. Biden just appointed 87,000 new internal revenue agents. Why? To go after the middle class. 87,000. And they're allowed to carry these now. That's how bad it is, fascism. Just look at the news. 87,000 new internal revenue tax agents in America from Biden. He opens the frickin' border up and fentanyl pours across the border. The fentanyl comes from China. And they nailed Trump, my friend. Do you know what I mean? That's why I wrote this book. That's why I wrote Rich Dad, Poor Dad. That's how my cash flow board game, because we fight back with financial education. We need to fight back as capitalists. Because as long as they tax the crap out of us, we can't fight back. We're poor. Inflation's killing us. Well, the story goes in 1972, I arrived in Vietnam, and Nixon took the dollar off the gold standard. That was the end of capitalism. That day, capitalism died because the dollar was the reserve currency of the world. And America promised that the dollar would be backed by gold. So in 1971, August 15th, 1971, Nixon took the dollar off the gold standard. That meant they could print as much money as they wanted. Inflation took off, all this stuff took off. It made it harder for the average worker, because they had to work harder and longer and pay more taxes. Because what happened prior to that, 1971 happened, but the Federal Reserve Bank was created in 1913. You know what else was created in 1913? Tax Department.
Oh.
That's like I say, when Prime Minister Truss of England kissed the Queen as she died, I said, must be a sign from God or something. I'm only being an asshole, you know what I mean? But I'm going, I trust God. I said, what is God telling us here? But they started printing money. And money became debt. So America today is the biggest debtor nation in the world. And the same thing happened in London this last week. You know, they tried to raise interest rates, collapsed it. They can't pay the debt.
No.
So America has to keep printing or something. Something's going to happen. I don't know what's going to happen. But the world is in serious trouble because of the U.S. America is so divided right now. It would be disastrous.